I was born and raised in Wallowa County, and I'm a third generation on both sides of the family of original homesteading. After graduation from college at OSU, I became a professional forester for Boise Cascade, and I worked with them for about 33 years.
Chuck Surratt, he's been working in this landscape across northeastern Oregon, for over 50 years in the forestry sector, and just has this very deep knowledge of the landscape, the forests, but I think in particular a really strong understanding of the landowners and the people. When I first met Chuck, getting plugged in with him, we were kind of facing a lot of different challenges as a landscape, particularly around really working with our private landowners to get the resources in their hands, and also getting them set up with a forest management plan, which we know is one of the key tools to landowners really developing that vision for their property, but also getting connected to the financial resources and other resources that our partners have.
There was a need because of all of the funding that was coming along to develop some form of a plan that was much easier and quicker to produce, and something that the landowner themselves could understand, because the uniform plan was just complicated enough that most landowners didn't understand it and didn't understand why they even needed a plan. In Northeast Oregon, I don't know what, there was probably not more than a dozen a year being completed.
Chuck had been working in this landscape for such a long time and just intimately knew any of the issues that were needed to be incorporated into a tool like that.
Chuck has created a playbook with this basic forest management plan to engage landowners in how to manage their ground for what they want, what values do they see in it, and help them achieve those goals.
That was just a huge game changer for our region.
When I get a basic forest management plan from Chuck Surratt, I know the value in that to the landowner, because it's simplified to where it's very digestible to the landowner, and it's very digestible on our end as well. It's a quick, easy read. It hits the high points of what issues are there, what they can do to correct some of those issues, and kind of a pathway or segue to get those done.
Chuck called me, fortunately, and told me that they had this program to help for cleanup and development of properties, and so we utilized that. He wrote us a management plan, and so we, first thing we wanted to do was to make this property more defensible for fire. The stand of trees was so thick that we couldn't manage it. I couldn't even drive my gator between the trees. So we thinned it, piled all the slash and the trees.
Chuck comes in and he looks at the cost of the operation as a whole, for each piece of equipment, to what it takes to get that stand treated to the level that the landowner wants it treated, and him providing kind of the numbers and influence behind that has really helped keep the contractors and some of the better contractors that we have in the business today.
Chuck made a definite difference. He wrote the plan. He found some funds that would help to subsidize some of the slash cleanup and whatnot that helped to pay the logging contractors. So if you were to do this on your own, could I do it? Yeah, but it would have taken a lot longer.
Chuck helps those landowners be successful in managing all those things that are tied to the Forest Practices Act, whether it's stream protections, wetlands, or tree retention when there's maybe a little larger problem with forest health. He's helping them get the resources of trees from the nurseries and our private land forest network here locally to get them those connections to be able to meet the Forest Practices Act and get replant and choose the right species for that site.
It looks a lot more defensible. I'm going to be able to grow a lot more grass. These trees are going to grow a lot faster. And hopefully we've alleviated some of the disease.
It has a ripple effect. They show up to do an operation for one landowner, and there's 3 or 4 neighbors I start getting more and more notifications because the neighbors are jumping on board, and they're going to take advantage of this forestry professional, Chuck, as a consultant, and the operators he brings with him to get their land treated.
It's a pretty incredible impact. It's around 1 in 5 acres of forested private lands in northeastern Oregon now has a plan that I know Chuck helped inspire, and the vast majority of those landowners have gone on to actually take action on their properties and work to improve forest health, reduce wildfire risk, and also just meet their long-term goals.
He's trustworthy, he's knowledgeable, and he's capable, very capable of getting the end result that you're looking for as a landowner.
Really like for my grandkids to be able to come back to Northeast Oregon and say, wow, that's a really nice forest landscape.